y'all up how many do?
I'm Omar
And we are the Gulf Street Preen Company.
Real quick, just a little bit about us. We are a full service barbershop / hair salon / merchandising company. One of the first things that you'll notice when you come into our commercial location is our waiting area, the lounge area. You know, it is a place where people wait for their services, but at the same time it serves as an area where we display a lot of our merchandise, hoodies, t-shirts, jackets. This is some of the merchandise right there, hoodie, hat. We have a very talented clothing designer who really ties the brand and merchandise together, and we've had a lot of success with our merchandise and so forth. So, that's one of, aside from the barbershop, that's one of our biggest thing that we offer and that we provide. The second part of the commercial location is the barbering area. In the barbering area, right now it's 4 of us, but we have an 8-chair barbershop. The barbershop area, that's where all the energy, that's where all the conversations, that's where all of the families, that's our meeting place, that's our place of comfort. And the last phase of the commercial location is the salon area. This is where the ladies in the back, they're doing hair, they're doing lashes. Our forte is the barbershop. So, we do everything from full surface shaves, every type haircut, then again on the merchandise side, we do custom made merchandise. We have a lot of exclusive items, merchandising.
So the Brown Sugar Collab got started during the pandemic, pretty much thinking about what was going on in our country, a lot of racial tension, unrest, everything that was going on centering George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. And so my thoughts were, we need to recreate Black Wall Street. So in reading and researching about Black Wall Street and also researching how a lot of Black people flourished during the Great Depression, and I said, why not? Why not start a business during the pandemic? And a lot of people, not just people of color, but a lot of people wanted to intentionally support Black businesses. When I was planning my own business, I wanted to make sure I carried vendors who were Black, more specifically Black women, because we are underrepresented, although we make up the majority of the consumers as far as cosmetics, home, the candles, and just everything. Black women run everything, but we don't run businesses. We're very well underrepresented. So I wanted to be very intentional about supporting other Black women like myself, especially during the pandemic. What better way just to put them in my boutique, help their businesses. I would like to see my vendors, their businesses to expand to where they're also in retail spaces of their own. And I would also like to see the Brown Sugar Collab in other major cities around the country. Being a Black woman entrepreneur, it means that I'm creating opportunities for other Black women or women of color. It also means that I am a role model for young girls who were like myself. When I was a little girl, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't have anyone to show me the ropes or to guide me in that direction. So I chose a traditional route and worked in a field that I hated. And it took me not several years, but several decades to figure it out. So hopefully I'll save someone else that trouble, and I could be a mentor to someone else or a resource to them to say, hey, this is the path that I took, and I can show you the way.
Welcome to today's Black History Month Small Business Forum. I am Penelope Rue. I'm District Director for Congresswoman Alma Adams' NC12 office. And today we hope that you will be inspired, informed, and encouraged no matter what stage you're in terms of starting, growing, or maintaining a small business. So today you're going to hear from experts. We're going to give you an opportunity to ask questions. And hopefully you'll leave with information that will empower you for success. So we're going to move right into our program and start with our very own Congresswoman Alma Adams, who represents North Carolina's 12th Congressional District She currently serves on the Committee on Financial Services, on the Education and Labor Committee, on the Committee on Agriculture, and is chairwoman of the Committee on Education and Labor Subcommittee on Workforce Protections, as well as vice chairwoman of the Committee on Agriculture. She was first elected to a term in Congress in 2014 and is now serving her fourth full term. She is a 40-year professor, 40-year educator, having served as an art professor at Bennett College for many years. She's a double HBCU graduate, and she is our representative and champion for small business. So, Congresswoman, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Penelope. Hello, everybody. I am broadcasting from the Duck Street Preen Company here on Lamar Avenue. I'm here with Omar and Dominique and all the guys here, and I'm thrilled that so many of you have gathered to learn more about how to start a business, how to maintain or grow your business. As small business owners and entrepreneurs, you play a critical role in the growth of our economy. And today is a unique opportunity for you, as Penelope has said, to learn and to receive insight into what it takes to succeed on this journey. I know from firsthand experience that owning a small business, it's not easy. And you work long hours and you probably work harder than you've ever worked in your life, but you know that you have a mission. And it is the most thrilling thing that you can do. I hope that at the end of this event, that each of you will leave with important information that will not only help you to grow as business leaders, but also will help you to drive the economic mobility for yourselves, for your families, for your employees, and for all of us impacted by your businesses. So Black businesses have been and continue to be focal points of inspiration and an opportunity for individuals and communities. And some of you started your businesses during COVID-19. As a matter of fact, this business started during COVID-19. You created a new set of challenges for your businesses. And our nation went from a lively in-person consumer economy to a nearly total shutdown, requiring all of us to be innovative. And certainly we've done that connecting with our customers using Zoom and other technology as helpful ways to keep us connected. We could not have done that without you. It helped you to deliver your services to the people. If you own a barbershop or a hair salon or a nail salon, that's why early in the pandemic, my colleagues and I in Congress passed the American Rescue Plan, CARES Act 1 and 2, and helped our nation and our small businesses. And so hopefully some of you out there listening today have been helped, and certainly you're able to continue to move your business along. So without further delay, let's go into our program. Let's hear from our experts and on how to start a business, how to maintain a business, and how to grow your business. Our first presenter is Mike Arreola, who is the District Director of the North Carolina District Office for the United States Small Business Administration. So Mike, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman. And as always, it's a pleasure to be with you today to help our folks in the district. And good morning, everybody. And let me go ahead and take a moment to share my screen. And first off, happy Black History Month to everybody. A couple of things I'm going to cover today. First of all, I'm going to do a recap of SBA programs and services, where we are today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the current environment, and then finally talk about resources for assistance. The Congresswoman was talking about the American Recovery Plan just a moment ago, and I'm happy to inform y'all that since the start of the pandemic, your SBA has been very hard at work channeling as much capital as we can to deserving small businesses across the state of North Carolina. And we helped 530,000 recipients get over $26 billion in funding over the last 2 years since the start of the pandemic. And that's everything. Forgivable PPP loans, direct loans from the SBA, known as EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loans, advances up to $10,000, up to $5,000 for supplemental, and those were free of charge. We helped out with the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, and finally with the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. So we helped hundreds of thousands of small businesses and qualified nonprofits across the state of North Carolina. At the same time, I'm happy to announce that as Secretary of State Elaine Marshall informed us all very recently, in 2021, the state of North Carolina posted a record in new business filings for 2021 over what was already a record in 2020. So those are very encouraging signs to show folks that although we have been pretty much in pandemic recovery and resiliency mode, at the same time, there's some really bright developments that I wanted to share with everybody. And the record number of new business filings is one of them. As Secretary of State Elaine Marshall herself noted, North Carolina is a hotbed of folks eager and willing to make their own way, no matter what the pandemic throws their way. And we've heard in media reports and articles that we've been reading about this so-called Great Resignation. Well, I like to think of it as the Great Startup, because not only are we having folks quitting their jobs to start businesses, but we've got other folks that have been considering starting their small businesses and are actually doing that. So the Great Resignation, like I said, I prefer to call it the Great Startup. And we and our partners are firmly committed to serve our state so that they can remain resilient as well. I will also note that in 2021, the SBA posted a record in lending for non-COVID purposes. Our regular loan programs for the first time exceeded $1 billion for the state of North Carolina. So while we're having all these new business filings, we've also managed to give out a record in capital. There are three basic things that the SBA has to be of service to our folks on this call. We help out with helping small businesses tap into the federal contracting marketplace. We've got small business loans. And finally, we've got a whole host of counseling and training programs available. In terms of loan options, we have guaranteed loans, 504 loans, which are for fixed asset purchases, like if you wanted to buy a building or a large piece of machinery. There are also SBA microloans available through qualified intermediaries. And I've included some links here where folks can locate lenders where they can apply. And what I'll do is I'll provide a PDF of this presentation to Finalfi in case they want to share it with the audience. The resources available for business planning and other assistance are across the state of North Carolina. We've got 15 small business technology development centers across the state. We have 9 chapters of SCORE. We have the one Veterans Business Outreach Center at Fayetteville State University. We have now 5 women's business centers, including our very newest one at Winston-Salem State. These are all SBA-sponsored resource partners that are available to assist. One resource partner that is not SBA-sponsored, but we partner up with a lot, are all the various small business centers across the state of North Carolina. We're very strong collaborators with them in the various things that they do. Important to note, since this is Black History Month, we've got folks making their own history in partnership with all of our resource partners. And I might also note that the Veterans Business Outreach Center is located at an HBCU, Fayetteville State University. We do have the Women's Business Center at Winston-Salem State, like I mentioned. And 5 of our SBTDCs are located on all of the UNC HBCU campuses. So we've got a very strong relationship with a lot of the HBCUs here in the state of North Carolina. And the PDF that I'll send to the Congresswoman's office will also have handy links to local resources, including the SBTDC at UNC Charlotte, Charlotte SCORE, the Women's Business Center, and I'll let Rocio talk about them in just a moment, as well as the CPCC Small Business Center at Central Piedmont Community College. One thing that I do want to touch on has to do with a lot of the events that we all experienced over the last 2 years since the start of the pandemic, because the last 2 years have really kind of dramatized a lot of the income, economic, and racial inequality that our country continues to endure, whether that's the level of injustice, and we saw that through the killings of some of our folks in the Black community over the last couple of years, but even including the SBA and how hard we have worked in order to make sure that our underserved communities and audiences get the capital that they need in order to succeed. And I want to take just a quick moment to mention that as your SBA district director for the state of North Carolina, it's my personal commitment to ensure that all of our underserved communities are able to access capital as well as other resources from the SBA, because the work that we do at the SBA really is all about equipping folks to start, develop, and succeed in business. And to the extent that I can reduce those barriers and make our programs more available to our underserved audiences, you have my pledge that I'm exactly going to be doing that. So with that, I want to thank you, and I'll turn it over to our host.
Wonderful, Mike, as always, thank you. That's great information. And as you said, we will share that PDF with everyone that registered. If someone shared the link with you, that means we don't have your email address. So you may want to just go on and register anyway, and we'll have it. But certainly it's information we'll be happy to share with you. So Mike, thank you again. And I tell you where I was. So I want to make sure you all know that I am at the Brown Sugar Collab, which is on Winifred Street, I believe, Winifred Street in Charlotte. And so it's a lovely little shop. I'll pan around and see if you can see a little bit. The owner is back there as well. You'll get a chance to say hi to Deanna a little bit later. So up next, we have the Institute and the Women's Business Center, which is part of the Institute. And I believe, I'm not sure who's going first. Is it John or Rocio?
Rocio has our presentation. I'll start and she'll wrap it up.
All right, well, welcome, John Hamm, just an amazing community leader, and glad for the work you're doing with the Institute. You can tell folks who you are, and I'll turn it over to you.
Great, thank you so much. Finalfi, thank you, and Congresswoman, for having the Institute, the National Institute of Minority Economic Development. We are based in Durham, headquartered, but we do have an office in Charlotte. But a lot of people don't realize, the Congresswoman does, however, that we've been around for 35 years. We started in 1986, and we've always had a mission of strengthening the asset base of diverse populations through policy, education, and economic opportunities. We are based in 5 markets. Obviously, North Carolina, we're in Virginia, Kentucky, the Maryland, DC area, and West Virginia. And we also have, you see our revenue as well as our impact. But more importantly on this slide is that we have served 2,400 businesses annually regularly on an annual basis, along with technical assistance, support, loans, etc. Next slide, please. So a lot of people ask us all the time, what is the Institute? Who are you? And I like to share, we're really a holistic organization that's divided into 4 buckets. One bucket, upper left, is our Research Policy and Impact Center. And that's where we provide reports, data to entities and organizations to help them make sound decisions as it relates to minorities and minority business owners and people of color. For example, we provided a report in 2020 to the governor in North Carolina, and from that, he determined that we needed to allocate some money for small businesses who were impacted by the COVID to have funding to sustain themselves. Our Center for Entrepreneurship, we have 3 women's business centers. Rocio will give more details on those later, but we also have a small business transportation resource center in our Center for Entrepreneurship. And this was where we help any companies that are looking to participate on any contract, construction and contract opportunities at the local and federal level. And with the passage of the recent infrastructure bill, there will be huge opportunities so we can help with bonding support and any assistance on construction projects. Center for Community Investment, that's where our Institute capital sits. And essentially that's where we make loans through a CDFI for businesses that are growing and scaling. We fund a lot of affordable housing projects. In Charlotte, one of the things people don't realize or recognize, we actually funded the Food Line shopping plaza that is at the corner of Sunset and Beatties Ford Road, as well as the Food Line that's on Beatties Ford Road by LaSalle Street. So those are some of the projects we've done. I sit in our Center for Professional Services, and that's really our consulting arm, where we provide executive training for small diverse businesses, where we help them become partners or in the supply chain for some of our clients who are looking to grow and scale their supplier diversity initiatives. We also have diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's been mentioned earlier that, you know, based upon what's happened through social justice with George Floyd and others. A lot of our clients have come to us making sure that internally their corporations mirror the communities that they serve. So we have a robust program to help with that. But more importantly, we just have a great model of sourcing diverse suppliers and pipelining them as suppliers for some of our corporate clients. Next slide, please. Here's some of our current collaborations. We've got a few new ones, but more importantly here, what you see is that the MWBE training and outreach that Rosia will talk about, where we really provide all types of training for minority-owned firms. We do a lot of outreach programs where we actually connect suppliers directly with corporations looking to add them to their supply chain. And we provide access to capital, which is very, very critical. We talked earlier about Institute Capital, that is ICAP. It's a CDFI. And for those of you who may or may not be familiar, the CDFI is essentially a bank, but the loan requirements and expectations for funding are typically less stringent than those with a bank. So we fund small businesses under three. It can be up to $750,000 if you've been in business over 3 years. Affordable housing and community development lending. We're doing some things on the HBCU space. Mike Arreola talked about what they're doing with the SBA, and we're doing some things actually with Bennett College that we'll hopefully be able to announce soon. And then we provide technical assistance for those firms as well. Next slide, please. So just an example, the governor in 2020 issued Retool North Carolina dollars, and these dollars were essentially through our Institute Capital, where we could make grants to diverse businesses that were impacted by COVID. We had over 350 applications that were approved and funded, and you can see there we funded almost $7 million there. And then in 2021, they had another rollout, and we funded close to $4 million. And sometime in April of this year, maybe the 1st of April, April 15th, there should be some more dollars coming down the pipe. So please stay connected with our website. If you're looking for grant dollars, there may be some opportunities for you there. So with that, I will turn it over to Rocio to talk about our Women's Business Center.
Thank you so much, John, and good afternoon, everybody. Yes, I am the director of the Women's Business Center of Charlotte. We have served our local community for over 5 years now. And mainly what we do is empower women by offering the tools, resources, and business development opportunities essential to establishing business. We want them to ensure that they can open businesses, they can generate sustainable profits, so that they can also strengthen our community and their families. We do this mission in 12 different counties around our area. This pandemic has been a blessing in disguise because it has allowed us to reach out to more areas in a virtual platform, but we're ready to begin to get together and see many of the women business owners in our sessions. We have been able to support a lot of many different small businesses, just like John said. We are the organization that provides support to business startups, to business expansion and access to capital. We do one-on-one business consulting. We also partner with John and Central for Professional Services to educate the small businesses on what it takes to prepare themselves and have that perfect pitch so that they can be partnering with a lot of different corporations. So not only funding the food line, providing food line with the minority-owned businesses that would be able to help build and equip and supply everything that food line would need. So we're very, very excited about to see just these numbers are just the impact that we have done in the past year. So we have made very much impact and success in this area. We have a mighty team of 3. Linda Hughes is our program director, and we have Luan Berry as a business coach. We are recruiting more business coaches from the minority community so that we can all help each other out, and we can also help them as small businesses that they are. We just want to thank each and every one of you for participating. Also, Congresswoman Alma Adams, thank you so much for inviting the National Institute for Economic Development so that we can share with our community all the products, services, and support that we provide to the minority-owned businesses in our area. If you would like to reach me on this, you're able to take a photo of this slide, or it will be shared with you as well. So thank you so much, and we'll stay connected.
Thank you so much, Rocio. We really appreciate all of that information and all the great work that you're doing. Up next, we had the opportunity to talk to 9 business owners in advance. And we asked them 5 questions. Tell us about your business in terms of when you started, what products or services you provide, how COVID-19 impacted your business, and what would you tell your younger entrepreneurial self? So right now, if you watch the screen, we have a video of some of those businesses.
Hi, my name is Bianca Long, and I am the CEO of Vectum One Transportation, LLC. Vectum One was incorporated in September of 2017. We specialize in transportation and logistics services, LTL and full truckload refrigerated services throughout the United States. We were affected minimally by COVID-19 due to the shortage of drivers and due to the shortage of available freight. If I had to give any advice to a younger me or a new entrepreneur, I would say, believe in yourself and trust your vision. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mr. Freshwater, and this is Mrs. Freshwater. We've been in business since 1986. We provide Southern and New Orleans cuisine. We do catering, weddings, and anything that has to do with food. Since 1986, we started, left New Jersey in 2012, been here about 5 years in Charlotte.
COVID-19 has affected our business in terms of being able to serve customers in-house. We do dining room only. We had to revert to takeout.
You know, in my years of being experienced in business, I would tell them, make sure to go to talk to somebody who has experience, somebody that's been in the game for a long time, that can give them some advice so they won't fail.
Alan Greer with A.E. Greer & Sons Funeral and Cremation Services. Our family has been in business since 1930. Our great-grandfather started the business. My brother Artie and I, we are 4th generation business owners. Some products and services that we provide are death care, pre-need, cremation services, and COVID-19 has affected our business. We have to become a little more innovative in different ways to do services, definitely utilizing a lot of technology, a lot of live streaming. A lot of older generation, they're still not safe coming outside. So we have to think of different ways to conduct services and become creative. For the youth, someone getting into the industry, I would say definitely have a passion of whatever it is you do. You got to have a passion of what you do, and you have to get engaged in the community, and things will work its way out in the long run.
Hello, everyone. My name is Deanna Allen. I'm the owner of the Brown Sugar Collab located in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I opened the Brown Sugar Collab a little over a year and a half ago during the pandemic, believe it or not. Inside of the Brown Sugar Collab, you will find products for your home, such as scented candles, room and linen sprays, incense, as well as bath and body products, such as sugar scrubs, body butters, facial moisturizers. The great thing about the products that I sell at the Brown Sugar Collab is that they are all handmade, they're natural, and they're made by women of color, many of them being from Charlotte, North Carolina. So that's my way of being able to keep our community dollars circulating, and me also being able to help other small business owners. So I would have to say, since I opened a business during the pandemic, the biggest challenge has been learning how to pivot, because I was not able initially to service my clients in the same type of manner that traditional stores have been used to. I opened during a time when we still had mandates and we were limited to the amount of customers that could be in our store at one time. And there were still some people who were not comfortable coming into public places. So I would allow my customers to shop virtually with me. And basically, they would just do a video call while I was at the store. And then they would be able to shop for their products. And I would ship the products to their homes or deliver them curbside. I would have to say, as an entrepreneur, if I was advising another person who wanted to enter into entrepreneurship or a young person who wanted to become an entrepreneur, get a mentor. Entrepreneurship, the waters are very choppy, and you need someone to help guide you through that process. And so my best advice is to get a mentor. That person doesn't have to be in the same industry or field, but you still want someone who is knowledgeable about entrepreneurship and can be empathetic about the struggles or challenges that you might face entering into entrepreneurship.
My name is William Wilson. I'm the owner of William Wilson Clothing. I'm in the North Carolina Military Veterans Hall of Fame. I am also a former NASCAR champion. I'm actually the first African American to win a NASCAR championship, and I was on a pit crew in NASCAR. I have been in business for 13 and a half years. I offer custom clothing for men and women. And the way COVID affected my business, actually, it was good for my business because a lot of businesses that do what I do, because they have such inventory, big sales staffs, a lot of rent and things like this, they really had, someone went bankrupt or had to really make some drastic changes and cuts. Whereas I learned in 2008 to run lean. So I run a very lean business. I do everything by appointment, so I can still offer that same service to my customers. So I actually picked up business from those people that were closing and things like that. So the business was actually good for me. First, learn everything you can about everything. You can never have too much knowledge. Second, don't get caught up in color. The only color that really matters is green, white, and gray. Even a person that can't stand your guts because of your color will hire you if you can make them money. But don't focus on color. Focus on learning to be the best you can be and be the most qualified for the position. Also, have some kind of relationship. I'm a Christian, so my relationship is with God. So, but some people, whoever you believe in, have some kind of relationship with a higher power, because starting entrepreneurship is a lonely, slowly difficult job, but it can be really, really great if it's something you're built for. And last thing, broke people give broke advice. And I don't mean broke from a fiduciary standpoint. I mean broken-minded. Broke people, a broken-minded person will only tell you why you can't do the things that you want to do. But a person who's not broke-minded, successful-minded person will look at your ideas and say, you know what? I can see where this could work. Or if they see where it wouldn't work, they can tell you where they see the problems and give you suggestions to how to fix it. So don't listen to broken-minded people. Don't take advice from people who have never done what you're trying to do to tell you why you can't do it when they don't even understand what you're trying to do. You end up with the untrained teaching the unqualified, the unnecessary, and you're doomed to fail.
Hello, my name is Deshaunda Lanier, and I am the proud owner of De La Casa Salon and Spa here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been in the beauty industry for over 30 plus years, but I've had the honor of being a salon owner for the last 24 years. My specialty and what I've been known for has been growing and maintaining a healthy head of hair, whether long or short, relaxed, or natural texture. I think any canvas of hair can become beautiful as long as you incorporate God, some blessed hands, great products, and abundance of TLC. COVID, dear COVID, plus gentrification here in Charlotte, North Carolina, has definitely forced me to switch up the way I do business, because my first rule of thumb has always been to keep my business and clients safe at all times. The advice I would give another business entrepreneur is always keep God first, never accept the no's or the negativity, always stay positive and continue to strive for a better you. Jay-Z said it best, you will never get rich off of one stream of income, and that's why I must give a shameless plug to my second stream of income. I've taken a nosedive into the trucking industry as well, and now I am the proud owner of Eye of the Tiger Dispatch and Logistic, where my motto is excellence without excuses.
My name is Michael Hayley, and I'm the owner of the original hot dog factory in Charlotte. We purchased a franchise about 2 years ago, and our main menu items are hot dogs, but we have a few creative things, which are deep fried Oreos, deep fried Twinkies, and funnel cake sticks. Opening a restaurant during COVID was very difficult because the state had restrictions on the number of people that could be in the restaurant, as well as it made it more difficult to hire people for the restaurant. And any advice that I would give to someone opening a business is to do your research, understand your market, and know where you fit in that market. Thank you.
What's up, y'all? I'm Dominique Dukes,
I'm Omar Lanier.
and we are the Duck Feet Preen Company. The location been open for about, I'm gonna say half a year, almost a little bit over half a year, but we've been in business for 3 years and over 20 years experience between both of us.
COVID really hit us pretty hard. I think this is the first time that, my partner and I, we experienced not being able to work, period. I think when COVID hit the middle of March of 2020, we had to go home. We couldn't cut hair. We didn't cut hair. At that time, we was trying to look for our first commercial location. That was off the table. We were just about to sign our first commercial lease. That was off the table. Finances. Finances was was real hard to come by at that time. But I think COVID also gave us the time to re-strategize and come up with an even better plan. And by the time we actually came out of COVID, we even found us a better location. But some of the effect that it had on us, we're not able to perform services like we used to. Everybody have to have masks. We have masks on at all time. Our clients have masks on. We're real conscious about, our cleanliness, constantly washing our hands, using sterilization for our tools and all our implements. So, COVID, it's been a strain, but at the same time, we've learned a lot. We learned the importance of safety and the importance of health as well. So,
What would I tell my young self today? The advice I would give them is to have a plan. And within that plan, take action for that plan. With action, execute that plan. Never give up. Don't be afraid to fail. Because you not failing, you're not trying. And as far as entrepreneurship go, you're gonna work harder than you would if you didn't own your own business or didn't run it. Being an entrepreneur, it sounds cool, it's a cool word to say, and everybody wants to do it, but nobody really wants to put the work in. So as far as entrepreneurs go, the advice I give you is be ready to work harder than you probably ever worked. And believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, believe in what you have going on. Don't really listen to outside advice. You gotta try for yourself, because everybody's road is not your road. What's yours is yours.
Hi, my name is Yanni Seo. I'm the owner of Yanni Couture, located at 325 North Graham Street, Charlotte, North Carolina. Yanni Couture have been in business now for 10 years. At Yanni Couture, we offer services such as custom tailoring, bespoke suits, custom shoes, etc. We got affected a little bit from COVID. We were shut down for 4 months and we reopened. I will always give this advice to people who's doing what we're doing, entrepreneurs. Stay focused, stay blessed, and stay strong. Never give up.
Wonderful, wonderful. You know what? I get so inspired by being around entrepreneurs. You're a brave and courageous group. Please keep doing what you do, because what you do fuels our economy. And thank you to all the businesses who participated in that video collection there and for sharing their wisdom. And as I told you in the beginning, I'm here at the Brown Sugar Collab. And I have a question for the owner, Deanna Allen, who has joined me in the shot here. But Deanna, can you tell us what has been the greatest reward from being an entrepreneur?
I would have to say the greatest reward is freedom, the path of freedom that I'm able to lay out for myself, because there's no limits to what I can do. And so with that, whatever my mind can conceive, I'm able to lay that groundwork in order to accomplish those things, as well as to help educate others in the process.
Wonderful, thank you, thank you. Well, I tell you, it takes a lot of energy to own your own business. So hopefully today is a valuable time for you. We do have time for some questions. And I'll give you a moment to type your questions in the Q&A section or the Q&A function of Zoom. And we'll get to as many questions as possible today. We also had a few questions submitted when people registered, so we'll get to those as well. And if a question is for one of our panelists, I'll direct it to them, or certainly Mike, Rocio, or John, you can chime in and say, oh, I'll take that one. And we may have a question for one of our businesses. So to get that started, make sure you type in the chat. I do want to say before it's all over to thank the district staff and especially the Congresswoman for allowing time for this session today. So we've got staff out, one office, 2 locations, DC and the district, and we're all here to assist. And so we'll get right into some of the questions. So one of the first questions had to do with funding and grants and opportunities for funding for small businesses, especially for women. So where would we, of course, from the federal level, we know there are veteran-owned business grants, women vets, women grants for women, underserved communities, and we can certainly in our office share some of those federal opportunities. But from your perspective, working on it day to day, where would you direct people to in order to find information on grants and funding? Who would like to jump in on that one? Let me see, a motion will tell me someone wants to jump in. John, okay, great.
All right, so what I can do is put in the chat, Institute Capital has access to loans as it relates to business development. They can be up to $750, depending on the size of the business, years in business, et cetera. So I'll drop that in the chat. And also Retool North Carolina that I mentioned earlier, those will be grants. Those will come out likely sometime in April. They're typically $10,000 per grant. However, there are stipulations that the organization will have to be registered with the historically underutilized business office out of Raleigh in order to qualify, or be a certified DBE, which is a disadvantaged business enterprise. Those are certifications that are through the state of North Carolina in Raleigh, Durham. But other than that, the loan would be an option. But I'll put that in the chat.
Okay, thank you. And Mike, hopefully the team will be able to spotlight the person answering the question so that folks can see him. But Mike, you have some input on that one?
Yeah, just something to add on the topic of grants. The SBA did have grants, short-term advances, et cetera, in the midst of the COVID pandemic. But after those grants were exhausted and expired, that free money is no longer available. Notwithstanding that, the SBA does have loan programs that work in partnership with banks, as well as very small microloans that folks can apply for. And I mentioned those briefly in one of my PowerPoint slides. And I've included the links to how they can apply. So that might be of help.
Okay, and Rocio?
Yes, thank you. I would like to give all of the businesses that are listening to us a piece of advice. Right now, you are in the time when you will be doing your tax forms for the year 2021. If you are planning on having access to capital, plan ahead, have a conversation with your accountant so that when you are so that you're able to show the strength of your business and be able to qualify for these loans and also for the grants. So have all of your holistic ideas and in mind whenever you are speaking with the banks, providing information for the grants, and also when you have a conversation with your accountant. Thank you.
Also in our Q&A, one person asked some specific questions about funding for cannabis and hemp businesses in Mecklenburg County. Do any of you have any information on paths toward funding for those type businesses? Mike?
Yeah, the only thing I'll say about cannabis and hemp is financing cannabis. Since possession, distribution of cannabis is still against federal law, no, not eligible at all for any of SBA assistance. What about hemp products? Well, it depends. For SBA financing, as long as the applicant can evidence, I'm just going to read my guide here on that. Generally, these are considered ineligible unless the business can demonstrate that its business activities and products are legal under federal and state law. So examples of legal hemp products include paper, clothing, and rope. So that's kind of where we stand on that.
All right, thank you. We've got several questions in the chat. I'll try and go through as many of them as possible. And also in the Q&A. Of course, there are small businesses still waiting for the full processing of some of their SBA loans. And so we do have a couple of folks in here who are still waiting on their, I believe the EIDL. I'm not exactly sure which one they're speaking of, but any comment on that in terms of what next steps might be for them if they have waited a significant amount of time?
Yes, Finalfi. I'm catching some of those in the chat, and I'm inviting those individual borrowers to contact us directly so that we can troubleshoot the individual cases. But yeah, to answer your question about any feedback on those kinds of cases, yeah, of course, December 31st is when our application deadline for new applications expires, so we're no longer accepting those. We are still working through some applications where maybe they, in the view of the SBA loan processors, the application needed, a corrected form or additional information. And so we're working, our office, as well as SBA Disaster Customer Services, working to help those folks get the financing that they need. I will also mention that your state SBA offices do not process these IDLs. So, we are not the ones responsible for requiring this or that, but what we can do is we can take a look at your file and find out, help troubleshoot, maybe interpret some of the things that we see as, what could be holding up your application. And in most cases, we're able to help push that through, either by saying, hey, this is what you need to do with this form or whatever. So we've been working through those cases. That caseload has dropped tremendously, but there are still some folks who are not able to do that. And so we would invite them to either contact SBA Disaster Customer Service or my office. And I can put our email in the chat for that, for those folks still having that problem.
Okay, great. Next question. Is there a Black business directory for the city of Charlotte? Anybody on the line aware of that? I know that several people have sort of accumulated. Yes, Mike.
Yeah, actually, I've seen a couple online. Some of the media outlets do have things. If you just Google it, I forget which one it is, whether it's WCNC or Charlotte Business Journal or Charlotte Observer. I've actually seen those very recently. One has as many as 80 businesses in Charlotte of all kinds. One is a little bit more shorter, but a simple Google search, you'll find what you need. And I apologize, I forget which media that is.
And I do believe the city of Charlotte may even have on their website a directory for small business. So check that out, and you'll probably find quite a few out there. We certainly have a wonderful, wonderful environment for small business, and especially Black-owned small businesses. We have a question. How can I acquire office space to do the work that I do? I'm a nonprofit organization that hasn't received the financing needed quite yet. So what can I do? What would you recommend? Rosia.
I would recommend to reach out to the Women's Business Center in Charlotte, whether you're a male or female. We help small business. We would love to see what you need, because saying, how do I have access to an office? Would it be just for you to have your laptop, or to have some much larger space to take care of the activities that you're doing? So I think fully understanding what your capacity and what your needs are will be able to help us refer you and help you with the search of the space that you need. So please don't work alone. Let us help you out. And I think I wrote all of my information. You can also go to the institutenc.org/ either CPS or WBCC, and you can find us there.
Great. And I think you said something that's key. Don't try and do it alone. That's the whole purpose of today, to introduce to some and reacquaint to others resources that are available in the community to help. We have another question. How can we work to implement the 15% of government contracts going to Black-owned businesses? So certainly there are so many government contracts. If anybody wants to chime in, certainly feel free. Each one has its own requirements. And I see Rose.
Yes. I would bounce back a question to the person that proposed the question. My question would be, are you minority owned certified? Are you certified with the City of Charlotte? Have you become a member of Mecklenburg County's vendor list? Do you have your NC Hub certification, which is the one that John mentioned a minute ago? Mainly because when you become part of those list of businesses that are certified, you begin to receive emails and information and communication as to what is available in the local, state, or federal level. That will help you better determine what your contract possibilities are. Also, depending on the size of your business, just because you are not directly doing business with the airport or with CMS, it doesn't mean that you cannot begin to working towards that goal. Meaning, you can also see the list of those already certified and begin to reach out to all those other bigger companies and offer your service, so that can also help you grow and become a partner of those medium to large businesses that are already making doing business and obtaining contracts from the public and private sector. So hopefully that helped you, that answered your question a little bit.
Yes, Mike.
Thank you, Fenalfi. Further on the idea of goals for minorities for federal contracting, on the federal side, the Small Business Act targets 23 cents out of every federal contracting dollar to go to small businesses. Within that, 5% is targeted to go to small disadvantaged business. So that's where you would, that's where minority-owned small businesses come into play. And that's all kind of statutory. So there's nothing that we can do by our, by our own accord to adjust that. But that is, that's pretty much how that works. I will say this, under the SBA 8A program, that after review and approval and admission to the SBA 8A program, as a minority or women or other socially disadvantaged individually owned business, we as the SBA can act as your prime contractor and award federal contracts to you. That's one of the big benefits of the SBA program, because a lot of times these contracts are set aside for small businesses and very often set aside for minority and other socially disadvantaged persons. So that might be an option available to the inquirer. And that's been a very useful means of helping folks not only get federal contracts, but to develop, because as soon as they develop that track record in the 8A program, then you graduate to make room for somebody else who's new that can take advantage of that. And hopefully by the time you graduate, you've got enough experience, you can go off on your own and compete with the big boys and big gals.
All right, now, can folks sign up to receive information on upcoming workshops or sessions with you?
Yeah, I think the best thing that folks can do is go to our website, SBA, and I'll type that, sba.gov/NC for our homepage. And you can take a look at all kinds of things there, including learning about federal government contracting. If you scroll down a little bit, you can sign up for our email newsletter as well. And by the way, I did see a question from Nimish Bhatt inquiring about what about resources for refugee communities and that sort of thing. And that reminded me that the SBA website can be translated, I think, into about 100 different languages. If you go way up to the top, it has a Google Translate button. Just select whatever language you like, and you can have access to SBA resources in your native tongue. And I thought that was very important, because this district is an incredibly diverse district. There's lots and lots of folks with origins in other countries or second generation in other countries. So that I thought would be very helpful to share.
Okay, thank you for that. And Bianca, I saw your hand up. Please unmute yourself and provide a response.
Okay, I just wanted to add on to what Ms. Gonzalez was saying about everyone getting their certifications. It is so imperative to get your hub certification, your DBB certification, and your local state government certifications. When I say they are priceless, they are priceless. They can be long, drawn out, and sometimes complicated, but keep the faith, drudge through it, submit everything that they ask, even if you have to do it 1 or 2 times. Please, it's very important, and you would be surprised of the support that you get, the opportunities that will be presented before you. I've done it, and it's priceless. I also want to say to everyone else that's listening, if I can be of any assistance to help you get your certifications, please let me know as well. Just the support alone and the opportunities that you will see once you get your certifications is astronomical. It gives you the courage and the strength to just keep pushing forward and keep pushing forward, because at that point you feel like you can do it. So please, everyone, reach out to Ms. Gonzalez and Mr. Ham, even myself, if I can help to get your certifications. It's really priceless. Thank you, Penelope.
Wow, this is such great information. I wish we had more time, but we are winding down to the last couple of minutes of our session today. I do have one more question, which is about protecting creative ideas. The question was, how can I seek out assistance while also protecting my idea? Anyone want to take that one? Okay, Mike?
Sure, yeah, with SBA, folks are federal employees, so there's definitely strict guidelines that apply to us in terms of ethics and maintaining the confidentiality of whatever is disclosed to us. The same would go for all of our resource partners. So that includes the SBTDC, SCORE, all the women's business centers, and the Veterans Business Outreach Center. If that helps.
I would quickly add, if there's an opportunity for that business owner to speak with an attorney and see what is the process for a trademark, for a patent, for doing documents, so that there's a non-disclosure contract that they may be able to sign with those who are providing them support and advice, so that there is something contractual in writing stating that whatever information is being shared is not going to be disclosed and it will be kept confidential. That's another piece of advice.
Okay, thank you all so very much. I wish we had more time to do this. If this was valuable, please let us know. We'll be happy to, in the district office, do more of these type of informational sessions. To all of our presenters, to Mike and John and Rocio, the SBA, the Institute, and the Women's Business Center, please, thank you so much. To all of our businesses that participated and shared information, we are grateful for you. Certainly look forward to your success. And as always, to the Congresswoman for making this format and time available for us. Always, you can reach out to the district office. We're here in Charlotte at 801 East Moorhead. You can give us a call, 704-344-9950, and that information will be up on the screen. And as we close out, go forth, be inspired, be informed, and be encouraged. Small business is truly, truly the way of the future. Have a great day, everybody.
Okay, thanks for having me, Penelope.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, everyone. We're still live, so enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.
Okay, take care.